is you interlock the two.
Now stretch them right as
Soccer and the
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
I felt like a reptile. Like a reptile. I felt like a reptile.
I drink so much coffee. I think sometimes it just makes me almost drowsy, like slum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How we doing?
Drink tons
Are we
of
recording?
Yeah.
Wicked. Are we rolling already, are we? Nice. Good. That was a good bit of conversation. Unfortunately, I wasn't holding my microphone to my face.
Away from his face.
That's all right. It still sounded good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Full Reptile Radio. As you can see, Owen hasn't turned up for work today, so he will be getting his first disciplinary notice. It's not good enough. But I have been joined by two superstars. We've got Amarasinghe, current Cage Warriors superstar, and Terry Brazier, current Bellator superstar, former Bama champ. So, you both got fights coming up, and you've both been up here training.
Yeah.
Yes, mate.
You're closer to your fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're what,
Yeah,
16?
16 days,
Yeah. And we're gonna get the mic.
Yeah.
Mics. Here we go. We got Mystery on with his silly headphones on. That's why he's hiding from the Raptor cam. And we got Coach Eric as well on the Raptor cam.
Yes.
We can see you've got the Velociraptors behind you.
And we got Wad over here.
And Wad's hiding. Yeah, Wad's hiding. There we go. Full house today.
HR manager.
Exactly. He's making sure we don't say anything that's going to get, upset the sponsors.
Yes.
Oh, thanks to Rigor, by the way. We've officially named the van Rigor the Dragon. The hashtag's already floating around, so please feel free to start using Rigor the Dragon. That's the name of the new Raptor wagon.
Nice, mate. It does look good.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah, cool. Mate. Yeah, it's good.
Unfortunately, I have to be really nice to people on the road though now because they can see they can see you driving it.
Know exactly who you are, mate.
Yeah. No road rage.
Yeah.
So how you feeling?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Good. Back to my old ways.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a speed hump, more mentally than physically in the last camp, and now I'm back to feeling strong and hungry. I'm ready for it, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
So change of opponent, right? You had Peter Queeley before.
Yes.
SBG.
Yeah.
He's injured.
Yeah.
Now you've got
Tim Wild.
Yeah. So slight adjustment of opponents. Much difference in style, do you reckon?
No. For all I know, I could change again next week. I'm just going to go in there, do me. And that's what I've done best before. Just go in there and fight instinctually. Not too much of a game plan. Just go be the best me. Give 100%, and I'm sure we come away with a win.
Yeah. So for people that haven't yet seen you fight, what would they expect to see when you're fighting? I mean, I felt it this morning because we were sparring, and my head's still hurting.
Do you know what? I like to come forward. I like to fight. I don't mind getting hit. And I like to put on a fight that fans like to see. I'm not there to nick a win. I'm not there to nick points in a round. I don't want to win the fight overall. I'm in there to cause damage and try and finish the fight as soon as possible.
And you're a lightweight, which is ridiculous.
Yes, yeah.
Ridiculous.
So I will be a lightweight.
You will be.
He's still got a few days left.
Are you hard dieting now? Are you closer to your
I'm
weight?
hard dieting, yeah. Otherwise, I'd be in your fridge right now. Trust me.
Right?
Yeah.
So you flyweight is your comfortable weight class, but you have fought up, haven't you?
Yeah, I fought probably half or 3/4 at bantamweight.
Right.
And about 25% probably at flyweight. But yeah, I can bounce between the two.
Yeah.
I feel great at both.
I mean, £10 is a big difference, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it just basically where my starting point is. When I'm at flyweight, normally I start a bit lower, and I'm staying in shape in between fights. But if I'm fighting at bantamweight, I don't really think about what I'm eating. I can just eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
Inside and outside of camp. So it's really, when I'm fighting at bantamweight, it's about 3 weeks of dieting. Flyweight, it's probably 5 weeks. There's a little bit of difference there.
And how do you fight differently at the two weight classes? Do you feel different?
I do definitely feel different. I think I move around a lot more when I'm at flyweight. I feel lighter on my toes, and there might be a little bit of a strength difference. But obviously that changes as my game plan changes as well, depending on who I'm fighting. So yes, both seem to work.
I think you're massively strong for both weights.
Yeah. I was just about to say
we've drilled
that.
together, we've sparred together.
Yeah.
And you're incredibly strong. You're as strong as most lightweights I've trained with. So
Yeah.
Thank you, mate.
No, I don't think.
And you're not a lightweight, let's be honest.
Nah, that's what I'm
I mean,
saying. Yeah.
it's ridiculous that you.
No, but
that
I feel good at welterweight as well. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm beaten as a welterweight, and I fought some good guys. But again, like obviously Adam's brother Dean, coming from that weight cut background and everything that he's taught us and how to manage our fight camps, I suppose, from start to finish. When I fight a welterweight, I can include a lot of S&C, a lot of conditioning, get strong. Whereas lightweight, that's less of an issue, and it's more just about staying fit and explosive rather than strong.
Managing it a bit better now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got all that information from Dean.
And that's just for people listening. That's Dean Amarasinghe, one of your older brothers.
Yeah, older brother.
And he's out in Shanghai right now, running the UFC PI, that's amazing.
Incredible achievement.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
really
are
happy for
you
him,
missing
proud
him
of
yet
him.
as a coach? Are you missing having him around?
Yeah, mate. Well, I was supposed to come back. I was out training in Phuket Top Team in Thailand. I was supposed to come back
That's
after
a good
4
second.
weeks.
That's a
Yeah,
good
it was.
second.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Training with Eric, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to be getting my flight back, but obviously Dean wasn't there, so I ended up extending my trip for another 4 weeks. So I was there for another 8 weeks, like 8 weeks in total. So yeah, we definitely were missing. Needed a bit more structure, so we came back after the 8 weeks, and obviously coming to train with you guys up at Hardy Warhead. It's all good now.
And obviously,
so.
Coach Eric's come back with us as well. So for that support.
So what are you saying, Coach, about these two guys at the moment, their performance? How are they looking for these fights?
I'm really happy with how they've both turned mental corners, and that's a big thing that we worked on. They're both incredibly physically gifted. I just saw some mental hindrances they were both kind of getting in their own ways, in different ways. Terry just sort of, I think, things got big real fast, and I think he got comfortable. And we were talking about earlier in the gym, comfort just kills fighters. In so many different ways it can sneak up on you, and I think comfort just got in the way. And there was a lot of other stuff that went on, fight week, medical stuff, but I don't really think that had as much to do with it as comfort. And then what I noticed with Adam was Adam's talent, and this can be a real curse. Adam's so talented that he kind of had this like play it safe mentality, that if his talent couldn't just clearly outshine the person, he would get very tight and very restrictive in certain positions and not take chances and not sort of allow himself to embrace the vulnerability of a fight and just let things flow. And that's something we kind of really, really worked on in camp. It's like, just take chances, man. Like, it's going to be what it's going to be. But by not allowing the chance to happen, you're actually hindering yourself. By playing it safe, you're actually hindering yourself. We have like a saying in New York, it's like scared money don't make money. That's like if you're scared money in the fight, you ain't gonna make no money.
So have you been uncomfortable, Terry? Has this been an uncomfortable training camp for you?
Yeah, definitely. You grow when you're uncomfortable, right? And coach knows how to make us feel uncomfortable in training.
Anyone with ears like that, no offense. You've earned those ears, my friend.
No, but and also, like I said, we've been working this camp as much mentally as we have physically. Every session we sit down after with coach, like with the fighters, and he goes through, we sit there and, there's nothing saying to be ashamed of, saying what you're scared of and what you need to work on, and what you need, to grow and stuff. And one of the things coach was working with me is just to have fun. I wasn't having any fun. So and then I see it today as well. When I have fun, I can just let it go and I can be me and I can fight. If I'm having fun, then I'm winning. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? If you go in there, you have fun, you give 100% and you lose, there's nothing more you can do. Yeah. So, and if you're not enjoying it, go get another job, right? Because no one likes getting punched in the face if you're not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Turn up each morning for that job as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I mean, I was noticing, I've noticed the past couple of sessions you guys have been up at the gym, that you're not only a very, technical coach across the whole, range of MMA, but you're also very much like a psychological coach. You do a lot of talking to your fighters and stuff. Yeah. What's your background? And I mean, was that something that you did for yourself, or did you have somebody that did that for you?
So this has been a journey I've been on for a long time. So the day of Terry's fight, I'll be 15 years sober from drugs and alcohol. So I was a junkie as a teenager and a criminal and homeless and all that stuff, in and out of psych wards. And I got into MMA as sort of like an outlet, wrestling and then MMA as sort of a way to get out of that life. But I stayed, all the mental stuff with that stayed with me and really cost me a career. Like I was very skilled and physically gifted, and just my mind was just fucked up. Like I just was really, really fucked up, and I had to work through a lot of that stuff. And fortunately or unfortunately, it was towards the end of my actual fight career that I started to really make strides mentally. And what I had to recognize was I was a coward, and that's not an easy pill for a guy that says that he fights for a living to tell himself. And from there, like a journey began, and I just got really into breaking down my own thought processes. And I've had some mentors along the way that have helped me obviously work through some of my own shit, and I just try to impart that with these guys. I think once you understand your own mind, we're all pretty similar. So I'm able to kind of roughly see what's making these guys tick, and then I won't tell them this is what making you. We'll have a conversation about it, and then and if we're on the same page, then and sometimes I'll know before they know, and so I'll kind of have to just steer them a little bit until they can see it, and then once we can all see it, then we can start to make some progress.
Like for me personally, like I had one of my shrinks, it come up on the phone, didn't it, earlier on, from the army, ring me. Obviously, like I got diagnosed with PTSD, and I can't sit there and listen to someone saying, I know how you feel, and I'm like, you really don't. Do you know what I mean? You probably, you look like you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You've sat in an office your whole life. You've never been shot at. You've never been in a street fight. I had like quite a hard upbringing, and the thing is with Coach is, I know he's been through it, and he can sit there, and I know he's talking from his heart, and he's had we've spoken, we've got a very like similar upbringing, sort of like some of the bad stuff that's happened in our life. So when he's giving me advice and saying, I know how you feel, but you need to do this, I say, okay, cool, like, because I know he's been there, so I can learn from his mistakes and take it as real. When someone that's sitting in an office in a white collar going, I know how you feel, you're like, man, you really don't. Yeah. And and that's why I can't get psychology from like army psychologists and stuff, so yeah, that's sort of why our relationship works so well, and that's why we've built such a good relationship as a coaching team. And obviously Adam, he's been over there, he's seen that as well, and a lot of the other fighters, Jason Radcliffe, he's also a guy that amazing athlete, he's fighting on Cage Warriors the same night as Adam. He's got them psychological barriers, and Coach has been working for him, and he's just like different guy, man. Yeah. He's coming, he's gonna bring what he looks like he's gonna bring this time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a dangerous man.
It just shows how strong and how weak the brain can be. You can be the best athlete in the world, but if your brain don't let you show that, you're not going to be it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But if your brain's strong and you're an athlete, then you're a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. And that's how I feel for my fight. So put me to sleep, Tim, while you're dying.
So tell me about because you've had a bit of an interesting journey recently. I was in your corner for your first professional loss, and that was it was an odd one because I mean obviously your opponent after went on to get a title shot. He's a very, very good fighter, Scott Malone, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That must have been a challenge for you because from the outside looking in, working with you here in the Reptile House and at the gym and down at NFM. Like, you've got all the physical attributes, and you're strong, you're fast. Like, things seem to come very easy to you, and you pick things up very quickly. So it doesn't take long for you to figure someone out and be able to beat them. But psychologically, that must have been a bit of a hump to get over.
Man, it was a very tough pill to swallow after that loss. But like Coach Eric was saying, it's a gift and a curse being talented. Because a lot of the time, before that fight, I was going on what I was good at. It was quite easy for me to just keep going forward with the stuff that I'm good at, not having to work necessarily on the things that I need to be putting some more time into, and really challenging myself. And again, making myself uncomfortable, putting myself in more uncomfortable situations. I felt like I was coasting a little bit. I got to where I got to, and winning loads of fights with doing just stuff I'm just good at naturally. And obviously I was putting the work in, but there was areas that really needed some attention. And I think this loss really was the making of me now. I feel like I'm better than I've ever been. yeah, I'm ready to show you that this fight. So working with Eric over in Phuket now, we've been working on all the things that I've needed to. I've changed my game a little bit, and I think the biggest thing that surprised me with Eric was the philosophical help with the mind, with everything with my mind, the way I approach training, the way I approach the fight, leading up to everything as well, and just having, like we said, Terry was saying, just having fun. I'm truly had fun this trip, man. I've been out traveling the world, enjoying everything about it. Good weather, good food, good people, good training. What more can you want?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Man, it's been amazing, and just the icing on the cake now would be to literally getting that win. Again, to perform in front of everyone, such a big card. So I can't wait.
And it is a big card as well, isn't it?
Cage Warriors 106, man. It's a big card.
What is it? Five title fights, 6
5 or 6 now, I think. Now maybe I think Sam Creasy's got added now, flyweight title maybe. So I think that's 6. So man, it's a big, and even on the undercard, we've got myself, Jason, like they were saying. Mario was out training with us in top team. So 3 guys that we know, plus the title fight. So
nice.
Yeah,
who's Jason got? Who's he fighting?
I'm not sure the guy's name.
I will have to look.
Brummy guy, I think.
I'll have to have a look. Yeah. I mean, I always look at Jason Radcliffe and just think, there's an absolute killer locked in there somewhere, and if you just
there's some
find
video
that right
floating
key.
around online right now from his last couple sparring sessions on Phuket Top Team's Instagram. Go watch it. Do yourself a favor.
It's body shot you're commenting about. It was beautiful.
Oh, really?
It was nice.
They're the worst body shots.
Some walk away body shot knockouts. Nice stuff to watch.
I went through a phase in my Thai boxing career where I just wanted to stop everyone with body shots because I realised it was like I got caught with a body shot in sparring. We used to have these mad Saturday morning boxing sessions, and it was myself, Owen Comrie, my old Thai boxing coach, and then it was there was a guy called James who was a really good amateur southpaw boxer, Ricardo Sams who was on the British team, and then like whoever else would show up, a couple of Thai boxers, whatever. Sometimes Paul Daly would drop in or whatever, and we'd do these like horrendous sessions where we'd start at 8 o'clock, we'd go for a run.
Hey, all your sessions sound horrendous.
They
back
were
then.
ridiculous.
You're just going round the clock, mate.
Oh man, we did everything short of carrying logs on our back, and I think I might have even done that one time as well. We used to get to the gym early, we'd do a run like 3 miles with some steps or whatever. Then we'd come back, we'd do 8 rounds of skipping, 5 rounds of shadow boxing, then we'd do 20 rounds on the bag.
It's the old school way.
Old school, right? Then we'd do like a bunch of conditioning exercises, or we'd do body sparring first, and we wouldn't stop body sparring until everyone had been down at least once.
We have to try that one time.
It sorts out the people that actually want to be there.
It was ridiculous.
I mean, a lot of gyms and sessions now are run so like open door to everyone. Do you know what I mean? And you get people there, and then they get to the fight before they realise they actually don't want to be a fighter. Like, sessions like that are definitely going to whittle that down.
That's the difference though. Going out to Phuket though, everyone's there for a reason because they want to fight. You don't get anyone shying away from anything, not wanting to spar, not wanting to grapple. Everyone's there to improve and work hard. So, nah, you don't.
To be fair, I've turned up to sessions and I've just been hot. He's like, go home. If you don't want to be here, go home. Because you ain't going to learn.
It's your choice.
If you're here moping around, fucking get out of my gym. Do you know what I mean? And that's, it's right. And this is at the beginning when we started working on the mental stuff, and it's like, come there with an objective. Come there not to win. And that was another thing as well. Don't try and win. It's going back to what you were saying. Like, don't try and win the rounds because, I know I can grind people out. I'm just going to take them down. We know I can do that, but then you're going to meet someone that's going to stop that. Then what are you going to do? So then go there with an objective to learn something that you're weak at. Like start in all the positions that you know you're weak at, or just try something new. Like if you get sprawled on trying that new shot, do it 10 times until you can do it. And that's how we started training. And then before you know it, like you're learning so fast. Do you know what I mean?
I think one of the hard things is stepping away from your ego. In the gym.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the main things that I learned when I was out there. Not trying to win every session like Eric was. I get so tense when I was trying to win every
tense
situation.
Mind, tense body.
And it doesn't work. The training doesn't flow. The techniques that I'm trying to use aren't flowing.
You can't learn when you're tense.
No. Well, that's what Coach Eric was saying to you earlier today when we were sparring, because I was kind of loose and trying to stay relaxed because I'm old and slow and my gas is not great.
You weren't too slow.
Every time I watch you train or train with you, you look like you're having fun every single time.
Yeah, I'm always having fun. It's not for like a round and a half, and then I'm like,
did well today. That was good.
Yeah, I got beat up today. That's what happened. But when you were relaxed,
Yeah.
it was I just didn't know where you were going. You know, in times when I've seen you and you're fighting and you're trying to knock someone out or you're trying to take them down, that tension in your body looked like it was exhausting you. And when I saw you working today, it's just flowing, and I wasn't sure whether you were level changing, hit me with shots. It was. Yeah,
And like,
coming together.
you're just ridiculously fast. It's
he's unreal,
unbelievable,
right?
and this stance switching that you started doing, very very TJ Dillashaw, but I even think it's more advanced than what TJ Dillashaw's doing. And I'll be honest, is because as you're switching your stance, you're moving out of range. There's no opportunity to hit you as you're doing that.
It's good to
you
hear.
don't exactly right.
good
You
to
don't
hear.
stand still enough to be taken down as well. So
Okay.
I'm excited.
It's coming together. It's coming together, man. It's only just over 4 weeks.
Yeah.
3.5 weeks. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
So I'm sure Dean will be listening to this.
Yeah.
Would he be happy with where you're at with your weight cut right now?
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Which part are you talking about? Which part are you talking about? The weight cut or the progress of training?
Yeah, where is it? No, I'm good. I'm on target for where I'm supposed to be. And after hearing how much you cut in 2 days yesterday, I'm sweet.
That's the worst thing you could have told him. Well, Dan cut 13 in 2 days.
Yeah.
No, do you know what? No, I'm on target. He set me my targets for each week, and I've hit it. So, you know, whether that's slightly more than I did last camp, it doesn't matter. I feel fine. I feel great. I feel in a great place. And like we said before, I've come out of the last sort of 2 fights when I won the Bama titles with Alex and Reese, and I said to Coach Al, I said, I feel fucked. Like, you know, you was in my corner, right, when I fought Reese. And he's screaming at me, "You're not tired, Terry Brazier." And I'm like, I'm more than tired.
Best clips on the internet,
It wasn't
mate.
my fitness. Like, I'm naturally fit from being in the army. I'm going on a 12-mile run anytime and I'm fit. Do you know what I mean? It just comes back to me. But it was my energy management and always holding on to stuff. And we've recognised that, or I've recognised it because it takes me a while of being told. And that's what I've been working on. And I'm finishing rounds now and I feel fine. Like we trained today, we've done the sessions, and then I rolled with Eric. I feel great. I feel fine. And it is down to energy management and fight IQ.
Efficiency.
And efficiency. And, you know, I'd done a lot more S&C. I had a few injuries. I had shoulder surgery and stuff before that last fight, so I couldn't do any S&C and, you know, loads of mad stuff. So I wanted to get a bit of strength back, which I've done. I put on a bit of muscle mass. I feel great. I look great. I feel super strong.
Feels great, looks great. Got his sleeveless full rep.
Yeah,
of course.
That's it, mate.
We always send them out with sleeves.
I thought you'd have one for me, to be honest.
I've seen the condition.
Yeah, these have been cut off.
But
you know, I'm in a great place, and you know, the weight's coming off as it should be. If anything, Eric, coach is telling me to eat more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For my recovery and stuff. So
Yeah.
no, it's all good, and I'm going to make weight like a pro, like I always do.
Nice.
Otherwise, Dina Flo trying to beat my head in.
Give you a big slap.
Yeah.
Tell me about your background a bit, because I mean, how did you get into martial arts? Have you always been a fan of martial arts? Because we're a similar age, right?
I'm 32.
Oh no, we're not a similar age. I'm.
Yeah, I was going to say, all right, Dan, I might look crazy.
I think I'm younger than I am. I thought you were little. I thought you were
I've had a hard life,
I thought you were
mate.
mid-30s.
I've been to war. That's the extra years.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that. I mean, how first of all, how was that?
Yeah, it's not great. It wasn't margaritas and beaches, that's for sure. It's a weird one. I had a crazy upbringing in an era where parents, or especially fathers, were drinkers and alcoholics. So I grew up with a violent dad, you know, always fighting or getting beaten as a youngster, until I turned 13 and realised I got a nice right on me and chinned him back. And then sort of at that stage I realised, you know, I've got something here. And I left school early at 15, grew up with the older boys, always fighting, always getting in trouble. And I started going down the wrong road, as much of us do in the fight, you know, in the fight scene and stuff. Until it come to a stage where I got arrested, and I was literally driving on the way to court, and I said goodbye to everyone because I thought that was me. And my mum just made me promise, if you walk out of court today, then change your life. And I said, yeah, I promise, because I just thought, I'm not walking out of court today. And you know, obviously it wasn't me, so I walked out of court that day and got the train the next day, went and joined the army, stuck to my word, completely changed my life, left everything behind, my phone, all my associates, because obviously, you know, looking back then, sort of people aren't your friends. Joined the army, and then found myself in Afghanistan a few years later. And that's when sort of like I really got mentally and physically tested. I was in a paratrooper, so it was compulsory to be fit and have the sort of mindset that I've got of like, you know, go forward, you win. There's an objective. You got to finish your mission. You know, that sort of strong mindset, which it instilled in me, and discipline, obviously. And then we had a real rough tour in Afghan, Nadi Ali North, Helmand Province, which is an area of Afghan where the Americans tried taking it and couldn't. And it was always sort of the typical Second World War, you know, fighting over a kilometre, do you know what I mean? And we basically just got dropped in the middle of this bee's nest, free para. Actually, Jack Marshman was just up the road from me as well. So, you know, the mindset of his fighting as well, it's very similar.
Yeah.
And we had a real rough sort of 7-8 months out there. A few boys went down, and we see some mad, crazy stuff. And it's sort of, just at that sort of point, my whole aspect and my whole outlook of life just changed. I had young kids, and a couple of instances, a couple of things that happened out there was 2 kids the same age as my kids. And it was just like, it shakes me now just thinking about it. It's quite hard to talk about. And then when I come back, sort of me and a few of the lads that I was with got medically discharged from PTSD, like no longer fit to soldier. Basically, my world collapsed. Because I was like, right, I was this little shit that used to sell drugs and fight and, you know, go do crazy shit. And then I've changed my life to be this good person that everyone looks up to, everyone respects. And, you know, you walk through London in your uniform and you know, people are looking at you in awe. And it was amazing. It was a great feeling. And then all of a sudden that was took away from me. And it was like, well, I'm back to my area with the same people that I knew 6-7 years ago doing the same shit, if not worse. And I'm like, didn't really want to be there. I was in a bad way, in a shit relationship. And I literally just wanted to fight. So I walked into a gym in Windsor and met Dean. And that's how I met Dean. I trained from Monday to Friday, had an inter-club fight, or 2 fights on the Saturday. Just got in the cage and just had it. One of them was with James Reedman. Another one was with some Muay Thai fighter, and just threw down, really.
Yeah.
And as I walked out the cage, he just grabbed me to one side. He's like, I can't teach you that. He said, I can teach you the skills to go with it, but I can't teach you what you've got.
Nice.
And I sort of didn't really understand what he meant. He said, just stick with it. And at the time, the army was still paying me. So it gave me that year to be able to train and have an income. So I just trained every day, day in, day out, and I was going there, I was getting armbarred, I was getting tapped, I was getting beaten up. And I was a big guy then, just always hitting the weights, always strong. He's like, stick at it, stick at it, stick at it. And slowly but surely, I was like, oh, now they're not tapping me. Oh, now I'm tapping them. Oh, now I'm just grinding them, do you know what I mean? And then I started fighting and obviously winning. And I just haven't looked back really, and just grown on it. And then it started making a living from it. And I'm really lucky to have some really good sponsors along the way. I was out in Thailand. Dean started going to meet Eric, met Eric, and everything's just like falling into place, man. And, you know, now I'm fighting on Bellator, Wembley Arena again. So it's like, you know, all my hopes and dreams have come true, and, you know, no looking back to that crazy lifestyle. And, you know, I'm lucky, man. I've had to fight for it, don't get me wrong, but, you know, I feel lucky to be here. You know, I'm sitting here with Dan Hardy, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's crazy for people that don't know, you know, don't see you on TV and stuff like that, and see these guys on TV, and, you know, this is a job they'd dream to have, and they'd love to be in this position. So, you know, I feel blessed every day for being here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I've put my time in, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
For Queen and Country and all that. But, you know, I'm here and I'm just going to make the most of it. So, that's me up to date.
Yeah, that's fascinating, man. So how much of that grind was instinct, and how much of that was learned when you were in the army?
So in the army, they try and break you, and they slowly learnt that I couldn't be broke. Like, and that come from the shit upbringing. You know, from 4 years old to 13 years old, I had a real hard time with my dad. Do you know what I mean? That's why I've got such a good jaw. Do you know what? If I could turn back time, I would not change a thing.
No.
You know, Walter Gahadza knows that. He hit me on the chin, and his eyes were like oh, you're still alive. What's going on here? Do you know what I mean? So
Part of you just saying fuck you to the man, trying to tell you what's
yeah,
doing
exactly.
it.
Like, cheers, Dad. You know, and that was just like that was just my whole life is, and it sounds so like corny, but my whole life was a build up to this. You know that, you know, I'm rough through and through. That come from my upbringing, and then when I got into the army, they realised they couldn't break me, so they tried to mould me. And you know, before I was a corporal in charge of lads, do you know what I mean? The army definitely taught me discipline and how to use my loud mouth and my you know, what's the word, like not backing down, do you know what I mean? And my stubbornness, you know, to use that, and that's good teachers, good sergeants in the army. Whereas in school they don't know how to deal with that. That's why I was like, you know, they couldn't teach that, so it's like, get out. Whereas in the army they're better at sort of moulding that sort of person. And obviously I was always super fit, running from the police. so going in the army, picking things up and running was my thing.
Get your cardio.
Yeah, my whole life has been a lead up to, feels like it's been for this, do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't change a thing, man.
And now you're ready to reap the benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in the right place for Bellator.
100%, mentally, physically, got amazing people around me. I feel good, man. I feel really good.
Yeah. So what do you learn from training with Terry then? Because obviously, I mean, you guys are kind of almost polar opposites when it comes to like style.
That's
right.
We use each other though.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's super fast and I'm strong and I come forward, so it actually works. You know what I mean? There's no point him always sparring with people that are super fast and the same as him. Yeah. And it's also not worth me always sparring with strong people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was nice because he's a bit bigger than me, you know. He can just walk down and take shots, and I can get used to pivoting and doing all that kind of stuff. And that there's specific bits of work that I can do with Terry. I think a lot of people I wouldn't be able to do with. Maybe I'd be catching them with a lot more shots, doing a bit more damage because Terry's so big. It's alright. He can just walk forward and take all the shots. Yeah, he's sweet. So that's helped a lot, man. For the guys that are quite aggressive fighters, it's a good stylistic matchup with Terry in my sparring sessions, just to work on that kind of stuff, getting angles off, getting shots off on the back foot maybe. It's worked well this camp. I've done quite a lot of grappling together with Eric as well, and myself.
Him shooting at a million mile an hour.
Yeah, so it's worked both ways. It's worked really nicely, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar relationship to me and Paul Daly, and you know, like he was strong and fast and powerful and had good wrestling, and I showed up every day.
Not giving yourself enough credit, mate.
I'm still here, Paul. I'm still here. My head's hurting, but I'm still here. Yeah. Tell me about your background, because your brother was one of my main training partners. He's been in my corner. He was in my corner for my last fight. He's a weight cutting genius. He's multi-talented, as well as being able to pick people up and slam them onto the. I've got some video, and we'll have to get it up on YouTube. Sure. It's old Cage Warriors, and
I'd love to see that.
As far as I understand, I'm the only person that's got a copy of this, including Cage Warriors, and it's Dean picking this poor guy up at Cage Warriors Roughhouse in Nottingham, and just slamming this guy onto the floor like he weighed nothing. It was just
exclusive footage you got here now.
Yeah, monster. So what was your background? I mean, were you always drawn to martial arts, or is it?
Well, firstly, it's not as colourful as Terry's life.
No.
But yeah, man. Both my parents were pretty athletic when they were younger. So a lot of that stuff that I picked up from them, you know, nature versus nurture. There was a lot of the genetic side of things. I think my dad's always been into his long distance running, keeping fit and stuff like that. My mum was a national runner for Ethiopia as well when she was younger. Unfortunately, didn't get to compete because of I think some civil wars going on at the time. It was really unfortunate for her. But obviously, she's left Ethiopia when she was really young as well, being a young immigrant with nothing in her pocket. So she came to the UK. I think she was like 15 or 16. Well, she went to Israel first with nothing, managed to make her way to the UK, or Germany first, then the UK. Wow. Made it over, and you know, she's built everything from the ground up. So I think the work ethics definitely come from my mum, and that's obviously helped out with everything with my training and all that kind of stuff. So my dad as well, it's the same kind of thing. He left his country with nothing in his pocket as well. So both of them really hard working, and that's just something that's been instilled in me when I was younger. and I've always been super competitive. So whatever sport I was playing when I was younger, I was always wanted to be the best at. I was playing football for my academy, playing for Wycombe Wanderers and stuff. So there was always in some kind of sport I wanted to be involved with. And obviously Dean started fighting in mixed martial arts, met you guys over in Nottingham. And my cousins and my uncle had a kickboxing gym in Slough, just the town over from us actually. So my cousins and me were just fighting constantly. I had 2 older brothers that I was training with and fighting with all the time. And then the kickboxing gym, I started when I was real young, 6, 7. I was just in the gym. Whenever my parents couldn't look after me, I was sat in there, just sat in the corner, just watching at first, and obviously continually getting more and more involved. And obviously the kickboxing just took off from there. I was competing quite a lot in, I call it fancy pants kickboxing. Of
course.
Point scoring. Yeah.
So Wonder Boy pretty well.
Wonder Boy, yeah. It's done well, but it's worked well for my my striking as well. And that's where basically my foundation came from. And then obviously Dean started doing mixed martial arts. And I was like, I want a piece of that. I saw his first fight after. I actually missed it, but I watched it afterwards, and I really wanted to get involved with that. So, carried on from there, man.
Yeah. So what about fighters? What about people that you watched when you were getting into it?
When I was getting into, I just like watching, man. When I was watching Tito and Chuck back in the day, I was like, this is absolutely mad. If I could do something that's that physical and I can do it as a job, and I can look as cool as they do on the TV, that was something else. But then obviously people like Mighty Mouse, I think, in terms of stylistically, he's the one that I've looked at the most in terms of being the most well-rounded. I think if you were to show someone that's never watched mixed martial arts before, perfect example of mixed martial arts, I would show, look at his highlight reel. So he was the one that I looked at most, I think, being able to put everything together really well. Yeah. And obviously when Dean was fighting, he made all connections with you guys. And there's just a wealth of knowledge there, man. I've been fortunate enough to be able to be thrown in the deep end there. I've got all the resources around me. So, really fortunate, man. Really fortunate.
Yeah. Nice. And what about as a training partner? Where do you see his future going?
Who, Adam? Oh, to the top, obviously. I think his last loss was obviously a wake-up call. And sort of before then, correct me if I'm wrong, like we're almost polar opposite upbringings, where Adam's got like a really supportive and like tight family around him. His mum's amazing, as we all know. Do you know what I mean? As was mine. But growing up in Windsor and stuff like that, it's not as rough area, and it's not
it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
That's what we were talking about before.
Fighting on the street almost, and I knew what it felt like to be stamped on and punched, and knew that I wouldn't get knocked out. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Adam maybe never was on the receiving end of that as much, but now you know what it's, and obviously you need to feel that to come back from it, and to know whether you're a fighter or not. And some people get that and they know they don't want to fight anymore, or they know that's not for them. Whereas Adam, it was like lit that fire and was like, right, let's go. Do you know what I mean? That's what I see from it anyway, from an outsider's point of view.
No, I completely agree.
And then ever since then, your work ethic always been a lot, but it's just been through the roof. Like, training, our camps out there has just been insane. We've had a lot of fun, but we've put in some hours, and we've grinded and we've worked, and Adam's destroying people on the mats. And like I say, he's super strong, man.
Yeah,
and like I say, he's so technical, and he's, I've got like 5-6 years on him, so I can only imagine where he's going to be in 5-6 years. And he's on Cage Warriors, can see him getting the title in sort of the next year, 18 months. You just look at history. People go to the UFC from Cage Warriors, and I'm pretty certain he's going to do well there. So
see what happens with that flyweight division in the UFC, right? It's all up in the air still, isn't it?
It is a bit at the moment. Yeah, we're not sure what's going on with it. I find out as quick as everybody else does, usually through Twitter or Instagram. I hope he sticks around. And the thing that frustrates me about it, and about the kind of the methodology around the weight classes in the UFC, is that they always have to be tied to a champion. We always need a champion. I don't think we
representing
like in the beginning, those early days, like there were just fights. People want to watch fights. They want to watch good fights. And
the best fights, the best match.
Exactly. And a lot of the times there are good fights in the flyweight division. So instead of maybe having a champion, just have flyweight fights every now and then between, you know, guys that are good, and eventually a division would start to develop around it. You know, once the UFC closed the lightweight division. Back in the day, they closed the lightweight division. Just shut it down.
Yeah, for a few years.
Shut it down. There was no lightweight division. So it was like Jens Pulver went to Japan, didn't he? Carl Luna went to Japan.
UFC, like it's no secret. Like, UFC is an amazing business. Do you know what I mean? But like, so where's the cut off from? Okay, they're just doing it to be an amazing business, or they're doing it to be an amazing fight show or an entertainment show. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the thing
decisions are obviously based on it being a business, which in their mind that's what they want, right?
Yeah, of course.
But you know, I guess as fans and stuff, we want to see other things.
But I'm not against the idea of having super fights though, and I think sometimes, you know, like there are good super fights to make in the flyweight division.
A bit more like boxing in that sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see now. Obviously, Dean's working with the Performance Institute in Shanghai. The population is generally smaller. There's going to be a load of good bantamweights, flyweights, even smaller. I think so. It'll be quite interesting to see who and what comes out of that gym.
And they've got like broadcast capabilities and stuff as well. So they're like this, like the Contender Series and stuff. They can literally do shows in the gym, broadcast live. So like we're going to be able to see that talent like real time on Fight Pass. That's exciting.
I'm looking forward to going to see it in person. I can't wait to go out there and train.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man, I cannot wait.
Perfect. So go on. Just before we move on to the weekend's fights, because I want to pick your brains about 238. What's the 5-year plan? Where do you want to be in 5 years?
Retired.
Cashed out. You want to cash out. Cash out.
You know, for me personally, I just want to live in the moment. Who knows? What can happen? Business. I'm very business minded. I've got other businesses and stuff. Things pop up. I don't want to go up and then have to fight my way back down. I don't want to be that guy. You know, I don't want to be 38 years old getting head kicked in front of my kids. And, you know, unfortunately, that's the way Jimmy went out at the weekend. Absolute warrior. And I'd love it if he carried on fighting. But there is a time where you think, these young bucks are kicking you in the head and knocking you out in front of your kids. It's time to like, you know, if you're comfortable and you've done well in the sport, then there's a time to knock it on the head, I think. That being said, I'll probably be 38 getting knocked out, but you know, we'll see what happens. And you know, I want that Bellator title. That I didn't go into Bellator thinking I just want to earn some money and get out. You know, I want that title. So I want to fight names. I want to fight Benson Henderson. I've said that from day one. I want to fight Benson Henderson. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? And what a great name, and title or not, just to fight them sort of names is, you know, it's an achievement. So, you know, they're great guys and great fighters, and to have your name in the lights up against them, you know, means I've done something.
Yeah, man. What about yourself?
You know, I'm still young, so I want to have another at least like 10 years in the fight game. And whether I just want to compete at the highest level, whether that's in the UFC. I like the look of ONE FC as well now. Dependent on the flyweight division, or I can jump between the bantamweight.
You're just chasing DJ, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm after him. I'm
just harassing Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, if he's listening,
come on, Mouse.
I've been watching you.
Apex is hunting.
Yeah, the cat's out, man. The cat's out.
It's like a cobra.
Like a cobra, bro.
Dude, that video, I posted that on my, was it Victory Fights?
Fight
for the title.
Yeah.
I posted that on my Instagram. It got 100,000 views.
I know, man. That was crazy, wasn't it?
I bet it got at least 10 followers.
Yeah,
mate.
Yeah. At least. Nah, mate. But I think whatever show I make it to after this, right now I want the Cage Warriors title, whether it's a flyweight or bantamweight, and I think that's going to come, or both, and that's going to come sooner rather than later. I've definitely got my eyes set on that, and then from there, obviously, we'll see what doors are open in terms of the UFC or I like ONE FC as well. I mean, like in their production, I like. It's quite a martial artist based organisation, you know. There's not a lot of trash talking and stuff like that. A lot of respect between the fighters, and I quite like that. I'm not one to, you know, be that outspoken. I think Terry might be. I don't know if Terry would see that one not so well, but For me, yeah, but I like it, man. It looks got good production as well. Some good fighters out there, and obviously,
Pay well, right?
yeah, I think they do. I haven't actually looked into it, but you checked it out.
It's like, at the end of the day, we all like fighting. People go, it's not about the money. Come on.
I'm mad about.
Do you want to buy a house or do you want to retire?
It's a short career.
You've
got to be making money.
Do you know what I mean?
10 years is not short.
Yeah, so, yeah. I like
that recovery in,
35, 36. You know what I mean? I think that's a good age. I can be like, I've put my time into it. But yes, it's still very early for me. Man. I had quite a long amateur career.
Yeah.
And I took my time with that, making sure I had the experience. So I think now I've got my eyes set on gold at Cage Warriors, and then we'll see what organisation is next.
Nice. All right, let's get into the fights this weekend.
Yeah, man.
UFC 238. Let's start from the top down. So, Cejudo against Moraes. What do you reckon? Can he do it?
You what? No, it's next. Man, I'm a Cejudo, man. After seeing him against TJ, I'm like, this guy is an absolute savage, and he's doing, from watching him on social media and stuff, he looks like he's been putting in everything he's been going over, like with his new S&C workouts he's been doing, all the cognitive stuff he's been working on. He seems like he's taking everything real serious. Like every measure he can take before to improve, it seems like he's doing it.
Yeah.
Plus he's got a wrestling gold medal in the Olympics. Plus he's the champion at flyweight.
Yeah. And
it's hard to
extra
argue.
10 pounds as well. I mean, that's something that you can speak on.
Yeah,
especially in those weight classes. I mean, and the thing is as well, something that people have got to bear in mind is that the lower the weight class, the higher a percentage that 10 pounds is to you as body weight. So there's quite a big difference. How do you think he's going to be different at bantamweight?
Bro, look at the power he showed against TJ. Yeah. He looked like an absolute savage. Every shot had so much intent behind it. And he was delivering damage in every single one. The kick to the body, he was going for head kicks, landed hard shots on the break. I think he's going to be dangerous in this fight bantamweight as well. Even stronger, more powerful. And it seems like he's been working all that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So, man, it's going to be a good fight. No doubt Moraes is an absolute savage as well. We were talking about all those knockouts with the knee and the kick as well, man. He's really good. I just think that he has another option to take Moraes down and do a bit more damage there, maybe wear him out, get him on a break again like he was doing against TJ.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous spot.
Good shout.
So yeah.
Good shout.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Are you watching?
Do you know what? I'm like the least educated MMA fighter.
Yeah.
I just
Cowboys on the card though,
pick
ain't
and choose. I just pick and choose a few little fights.
Who do you watch then?
I was cooking breakfast actually when we was watching fights.
Who do you like to watch? Any combat sports. There must be someone.
I don't.
No, nobody.
No.
What sports do you like? No sports?
No.
Just
like
fighting.
horse racing.
I own a horse race.
Oh, yeah.
I own a racehorse.
Is that right?
I like horse racing. Dogs.
Yeah.
I'm a gambler,
anything you
man.
bet on, yeah.
Do you know what? I do. If I'm not in the gym, I want to be recovering, and I'm generally always in the gym or at home sleeping.
Yeah.
Watched a few of the fights on the weekend. Just obviously Jimmy Manu always brings it. It's always a fight. I watched Gustafsson and Wisher Man from Cage Warriors.
Fish Gold.
Fish Gold.
Yeah.
I didn't see that fight.
I watched that fight.
What happened with that?
It was a good fight. Yeah,
He got you.
But he was a good
was,
fight. He jumped on a
so
guillotine,
coach-
tried to roll him over, and got caught.
He got the underhook, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that's something that he was. Coach was telling me not to do, and then that's what he done and got choked. So it's actually something. Did I do it today? Oh yeah, I caught someone.
Yeah.
Nice.
I caught one of the guys in it.
Nice.
Today.
Very cool.
So yeah, if someone tells me to watch something because it's educational for me, I'll watch it. Or if someone's very similar style to one of my opponents, they say watch it. Dina sent me a fight, say you need to see this. I'll watch it. But
do you watch your opponents? No,
not really.
No,
like coaches do.
Yeah.
Like,
do you find it easier just to let the coaches give you the input? You just not. Don't matter. It's not important.
To be honest, if I'm completely honest, I'm like, it don't,
The less he thinks, the better.
Yeah.
I mean that in a really in a sarcastic way, but also quite real.
I'm an instinctual fighter, so if I get in there and I'm worried about something, what's the point of being worried about something? Because that thought process, we've gathered, my brain is a lot slower than my natural reaction. So if I go in there and just whatever comes at me, I react to, I'll do all right.
Yeah.
As soon as I think, I'm getting hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever, innit? Like, he's going to come in and fight, and I'm going to fight.
Well,
like,
you and Bruce Lee are on the same page. You know, Bruce Lee used to say, "Don't think, feel."
Fight.
Here we go.
Well,
Don't think, fight. Here we go.
like-
That's Terry.
This is what we were going
I'm
over.
putting that on the back
Phil
of a
from the gut.
t-shirt. Don't think, fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel from the belly, man.
Yeah.
Don't feel from the head. The head's slower than the belly. From your gut. So,
Yeah.
that's my my outlook on it.
Yeah. How does that translate to you? Because obviously you're very different fighters. You seem to. I'd imagine your brain's quite a lot like Dean's.
Yeah.
And you kind of analyze everything.
I like to know. Yeah, I like to look at what my opponent's going to be doing. Come up with a little game plan. Obviously, I like to react once I'm in there, but I like to have a kind of idea of my plan A. You know, there's always going to be plan B and just working off the cuff, but I like to have a plan A, and we can just switch between different ideas. And I kind of like to have a feel for how they're going to react and how they're gonna fight. You can't obviously tell a lot. People can change up. They can be a striker, maybe change it up one day in your fight just to throw you off. So I don't like to put too much time into it, but I like to be prepared. I think that's the most important thing for me, being prepared. And just like Coach Eric's been saying, welcoming all those bad situations and being able to deal with them. That's the most important thing. Being able to deal with every situation that comes.
Yeah, it's interesting how all fighters interpret the same thing very differently. Approach it very differently.
We take the same information, but then
that's
we
also
explain it differently.
You know, you don't say exactly, you tailor it to us, right? Do you know what I mean? And it's knowing your fighters, and it's being a good teacher. And unfortunately, that's what we haven't got in schools. You know, they know one way and one way only of teaching. And the sign of a good coach is, you know, you can reach out to 5-6 different fighters with the same meaning, but adapt it to their style. Like, you know, from what Adam was saying, like, you know, like, for instance, I was fighting Peter Queeley, and the guys watched it. A couple of guys in Thailand watched his fight. He said, one fight he was it, and the next fight was completely different. So I was like, I wouldn't want to go out thinking that he's going to do one thing, and he comes out doing something completely different. So for me, being prepared is just being the best me.
Be like water, Terry.
And be like water.
Be like water.
Put water into a cup, it becomes the cup.
Becomes
I'm going to be the
Accent's
water.
good as well, mate.
I'm going to be the water and drown him.
Dan's practiced that one before.
Put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot.
That's actually good.
That water can flow,
That's a pretty good
or it can crash.
Great.
Be water, my friend.
Yeah. Down, mate.
Which, from a coaching perspective, which ones their benefits and challenges with both, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like these two guys are polar opposites, like in style and upbringing and in so many different ways.
Sleeves.
Yeah.
Oh, see, well, that's why you picked that side of this. That side of the table now.
My good
Yeah. What I do, one of the things that I see what they're afraid of. And it'll be, I'll notice a reaction to a certain situation, and then I'll first ask myself what I think is going on there. Sometimes I'm on the money, sometimes I'm not. And then sometimes I might not even say anything right away. I might observe to see if it happens again, or to see if I see something similar happen again. And then if I see a pattern start, I'll pull them aside, we'll have a conversation, or I'll put them in that situation again to see what's going on, and because I want them to see what they're afraid of. And if I can show you what you're afraid of, well, we can start to kind of detract from there. It's a great place to start. If you find out what you're afraid of and you're honest about it. The thing is getting somebody to be honest about it. So he's like, I'm not afraid. Well, then I'll put you in the situation again. I'll go, well, you look pretty afraid right now. You know? And then we can work from there. And it's like, it's working back from that. That's probably one of the most common ways that I can sort of get in each guy's mind, you know. And then obviously I gotta observe, like, Terry he's not the game plan guy. It's not his thing, and I don't want him to be. He doesn't need. Sometimes you don't have to be. There's not a certain way to be. You know. Look at Robbie Lawler, right? So Robbie Lawler was a great champion. Robbie Lawler was not a game plan fighter. Robbie Lawler went out there and had a fucking fist fight. Then you have John Jones, who is supremely athletic and supremely intellectual, and he fights like that. Okay. There's a lot of different ways to be great. And so it's like, how can I help that guy tap into his greatness? whatever. I can't change. I'm not going to make Adam fight like Terry. That's never going to work. Adam's never going to throw caution to the wind. He's too smart for that. You know what I mean? He's not going to fight that way. Right? But you get what I mean, right? It's like yeah. Adam's not going to fight like that. But what I had to get Adam to tap into was a couple different things. So like going back to the last loss, Adam felt entitled to win his last fight, and that's why it lost.
This is one of the best conversations that we had.
We had a long conversation,
other, didn't we?
and he felt entitled, and somebody forgot to tell his opponent that, and Adam showed to pick up a win-up bonus, right? The other guy showed up to fight, right? So Adam assumed, I'm going to come here, beat this chump up, collect my win bonus, and fucking go on to the UFC because everybody's telling me how great I am, right? And nobody told Homeboy that. So Homeboy showed up to fight, and Terry did the same thing in his last fight, right? But very similar. And so what we had to get through to Adam is you're not entitled to shit. That's why you have to go out and have a fist fight, right? If there's one person supposed to win, well, we don't do it on paper, right? You go out and you have a fight, and we see who's got to win. That's what the fight is for. And so you have to go out and earn that shit, Adam. You're not entitled to nothing, and that means that's where we started to kind of get into. You got to grind a little bit, Adam. And then I started really making him wrestle a lot. I started making him wrestle with. And so I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but like I started making him wrestle with nobody tough ass amateurs that I have. Nobody's ever heard of these kids before, and they were getting in his ass a little bit. And Adam had a couple days where he fucking left the gym a little sad. I said, Adam, what are you sad about? Be happy that you have these fucking, because these kids are gonna be beasts. Be happy you got these secret weapons in here. That, like, these are your training partners. So they're exposing you right now. Thank them for exposing you right now. So and now. Like, if you saw Adam today, get out of the position against some big dude right on the wall and then reshoot, get it on the guy's legs right away. That wasn't there a couple weeks ago. That wasn't there. So Adam's embraced that part about himself. And, do not be surprised to see some new tricks come out of this kid. And we're just scratching the surface. Yeah, we just started working together. So like... Yeah. So to long-windedly answer your question.
Well, we'll record a podcast at some point. Yeah. Next time you come up, I want to sit down and have a good conversation with Coach Eric, because it's fascinating and a wealth of knowledge as well. Yeah, so we'll get into that. Anything else? Bantamweight. Let's stick with bantamweight. Peter Yan, Jimmy Rivera. Don't worry about this, Terry. Just
I know Peter Yan. We'll just. I know Peter Yan.
Yeah.
I know from
there you go. Yeah, go on. Let's go. Roll with it, Terry. Roll with
it. He's so ignorant. No, do you know what? He's a tough guy. Yeah. But I think because he fought Ed Arthur, innit? Yeah. And he knows me from being out in Thailand. Okay. So I see him every day with same boxing coach in Thailand. And I see him at the crossover session. All right, mate, and he just look at me. It's like, all right, mate, big time. Slam you on your head.
So you're pulling for Jimmy Rivera then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're safe to say.
Go to a technical conversation.
Yeah. Take the lead. No, I think Peter Yan's is a force to be reckoned with in the bantamweight division, man. He really is good, and I think he stepped up his performance every time he's fought. Yeah. Well, who's the last guy he fought again?
John Dodson.
Yeah, man.
Beat him up good. So.
Yeah, and that's what a good name to take out there.
Yeah, in Prague. Yeah.
And then before that, he fought that was he Chinese guy?
Let me pull his record up. No, before that it was Douglas Silva de Andrade at UFC 232, and then he fought Jinsu's son. In Moscow.
Good performance that was as well.
Ishihara knocked out Teruto Ishihara. Yeah, he's good, man. Yeah,
all around, man. He looks. Ever since I saw him fight, my boy Ed. I've trained with Ed for a long time, so I knew how tough he is, and he put it on Ed, and it just showed the level that he was at. Obviously, Ed gave a good account of himself. He can never put this guy out. He's one of the toughest guys I know. But man, just watching him there, I was like, this guy's.
I know, his work ethic is insane. Like his coaches out there are always telling him, you need to rest. And he's like always on the track, doing sprints. He's boxing. He's doing MMA. He's doing conditioning. Just goes and goes and goes and goes. You can't fault him for that. His work ethic is. I've seen it first class, and he works hard, man. Like he really embraces that gassing feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like that lactic acid, man, he thrives on it. So fair play to him. He works hard.
It's a scary dude.
That being said, though, Rivera's tough though, so that is a big fight.
Yeah,
very big fight.
Yeah, it is.
We'll see where he's at after that now.
I know, right? Well, yeah. I mean, I think after that, because we've got on the undercard, we've got Aljamain Sterling against Pedro Munoz. I think the winner of that fight could face the winner of the Yan Rivera fight for a title shot.
Two good bantamweight fights.
Loads of female fights on the card as well. Suarez against Ansarov. That's probably a title eliminator. Kovalkovic, Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko, Jessica Ai. How do you see Jessica Ai winning that if she can? It's a tough one because I think Valentina's just so high level everywhere.
It's a tough. I don't know if she's going to win it. I don't know. Yeah, put a pace on her.
Yeah, she's a good wrestler. She's moved to Vegas recently, so she's at the PI. She's working with some new people. So,
have you checked any of her training out or anything? Or
not just from what I saw on the Countdown show. I mean, I called. Was it a fight before that or a couple before that? And she's like got that Cleveland Stipe Miocic mentality. It's just grind.
Yeah.
I fought one of her teammates a long while back, and they've all got that mentality. Tough, just grinding style. So.
That style against a good striker. A lot of the time, you need a bit of space to be getting your work off. So we'll see, man. How well can you implement your game plan? And I think for a good striker, that's the kryptonite. If there's going to be one, if there's going to be a style, it's that walking forward. Terry style.
Terry style.
Dominator style.
Do you watch female fights? And then do you watch them out of entertainment or to learn from? Because any female fights I've ever watched, I'm like do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, all right, you're here.
But considering how many fights you watch,
that's not many.
Maybe 2 or 3
any like
ever.
The Paige Van Zandt, like the sexy ones.
There's always watching Paige.
No, but you
be yourself. Misha Tate as well.
But like, can you learn anything from them? I'm asking you, is that?
Yeah,
as much as you do.
Yeah,
from Shevchenko for sure.
Yeah, striking.
She's awesome, really, really good. Her
it's nice to watch. The guys, though, and
I don't think so. Not with the only thing is that there's not the depth in the
division.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
you get a few, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Like Tatiana Suarez, Nina Ansarov's going to be a really good fight. Suarez is a very strong wrestler. Ansarov's a good MMA fighter, American top team. Amanda Nunes' partner. So that's going to be a real high level fight, and I'm expecting the Shevchenko fight to be high level, but far more on Shevchenko's side. But that's more because of how Jessica Ai fights. But then if you look like on the undercard, there's a Chinese fighter, Yan Xiaonan, who I'm sure will call into the PI at some point. I called a couple of her fights, and she is.
Oh, she recently fought.
Yeah,
she looked. Yeah, I watched her. She looked good.
I mean, she's decisioning people. She's beat Shuri Kondo, Viviana Pereira, and Kylan Karan. But she's very good. Real sharp, real fast.
Across the board.
And then you've got the opposite end of the spectrum. You got Jessica Andrade, who can pick you up and slam you on your head. You know what I mean?
It doesn't have to be the most technical.
No.
That's what the fight. That's what's so exciting about MMA.
Yeah.
So many ways to win.
It's just the depth of the weight classes in the women's divisions. There are far fewer really
Top
really
level,
talented fighters past sort of 10 or 15, which is why they're struggling to put the featherweight.
15, isn't it?
Yeah. What else stands out on the card? I mean, we've got to talk about what is listed on Wikipedia as the people's main event. Cowboy against Ferguson.
Oh boy, man. After Cowboy's performance against Al, man, I thought Al was going to trash him. I thought he was literally going to run through him.
Body shots.
Man, that was just what a performance. I just did not expect it. Was it 4th round he got to the finish?
I think it was.
Man, our boy still got it. Our boy still got it. He's a tough dude. And he looked like he was not gassed at all, putting hands on him.
Yeah. Fifth round.
Fifth round.
Decision.
Fifth round. I knew it was late.
Yeah.
But lovely performance. So but then Tony, man, with all his trickery, I never know what to think with Tony. I always put him as a lot of fights. I put him as the underdog, and then he's come on top and just cut people up and just damage them. He doesn't inflict damage.
Fights, and do you think he had that wake up call where it was a bit like, it looked like he was at the end of his road, and then all of a sudden he's come back with this mad.
He seemed different since the birth of his son. Seems like the
different
real
motivation
point of difference. Yeah, he's had a son, and all of a sudden it's like now he's not fighting for the adrenaline rush and the fun of it and the money. Now he's fighting because he's got a purpose, and it's like he's got an objective now. That's the difference I've seen in him recently.
I saw, was it before the Al fight that he was like, maybe some interview I saw that he was saying he didn't even want to come out in the first for the fight, or saying he wasn't even up for it in the first round, but then obviously he changed it. Managed to take a few. Some people need to take a few punches, and they wake up. But he said he didn't even want to be there.
Yeah,
and he's like, if it was a younger Cerrone, he wouldn't even come out to the fight.
Yeah,
so
really,
it's crazy, man.
He's only young.
He looks weathered though, doesn't he?
He's been around a long time.
He's 36. He's very young.
Kickboxing. Kickboxing.
I'm 37 now.
He lives a good life.
Yeah, man.
That for me, that's like, you made it, man.
Living on a ranch.
Yeah, living on a ranch, got his horses, his dogs.
Extreme sports, surfing and that as well.
Beer.
Yeah.
Crack on, man. You can fight. Like, that's a fighter. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's athletes and there's fighters, man.
It's funny you say that, though. He's saying he's a fighter. He's seems to be one of the most nervous before a fight.
Yeah.
And the way he talks about fighting, he's like, one interview he was saying, why do I even do it? Like, before, so I'm like questioning himself, and I'm like, but then the way he, shows himself to everyone is he's just this fighter and stuff. But there's a balance between the two.
I get nervous. I think it's just challenging it, and
to that extreme,
I think different things make me nervous, but and you question it. I was going to stop before the water. Gahadza fight. Just because I just couldn't handle how it made me feel before the fight, and then you win, and you're like, "This is why I do
worth
it."
Yeah.
Like that, just sitting on top of the cage or whatever it is, them couple of moments of just euphoria. It's amazing, isn't it? It's just like floating next
until you're back to your diet.
Amazing, and then before you know it, you're sat back before the next fight thinking, "Why am I doing this?" Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's crazy. Fighters are crazy. You gotta be crazy, and and if you're not getting nervous, you're crazy anyway. You should be sectioned. Do you know what I mean? Walking out in front of thousands of people on TV, about to get punched in the face.
Body getting
you're not nervous, man.
Madman.
You need to have a word.
How have you felt? You've been in world title fights and everything like that. So how have you felt before?
It was different throughout my career. For the most part, I got that feeling of anxiety, but I managed to cut it down and focus and identify the fact that I wasn't bothered about getting knocked out or choked out or hurt or anything. My main focus was I'd put so much work in and I didn't want to choke and just waste the moment and embarrass myself.
And you want to win.
Yeah, of course.
If you don't feel like that, then you don't want to win. You're going to lose.
Yeah.
Isn't it? No,
I agree. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But going out to fight GSP, what was that? Was that a different feeling, or was that the same as all of them?
I don't know. I mean, there were some fighters that when I was walking out against them, like Rory Markham was a good example because he'd never been the distance. He'd never been a decision. So the likelihood of us making it to the third round was pretty slim. I knew it was going to be violent, whatever happened. Yeah. So as I was standing behind the curtain and I'm co-main event, it's only my second UFC fight, and it's the
co-main for your second.
Co-main. It's ridiculous.
Big time.
It's ridiculous, and it's all about a haircut. And then it was banging. The whole thing's banging, and he's already made his walk, and my music starts. Dun, 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 dun. And all of a sudden, I get this feeling come over me. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing this for? I could be any one of those 16,000 people sitting there just going, UFC, just please. I could have been one of those guys, but I wasn't. I was there. Why was I doing that to myself? But I'd experienced that in most of my fights in some capacity, but it didn't hit me like it did at that event when I was behind the curtain waiting to walk out. But the weirdest one was my first UFC fight against Gono in Birmingham, UFC 89. Double figures. I'm not a triple figure fighter. It'll be a credential one day. I'm not sure of it.
Once you're Hall of Famer.
That's it. I don't know about that. That was the only time I stood there before the fight, and I'm like, I'm not nervous. I didn't feel any nerves, and I should have done, because I was fighting a Pride vet, a guy that he had a lot of experience. He beat Gegard Mousasi and Hector Lombard. He was a good fighter, but I think what I figured out had happened is that my goal was to get to the UFC. Yeah. So once I was there, I'd made it, and I'm like, oh, I'm here, I've done it. And then that was just a I just enjoyed that. I was just like, oh, this is the UFC. I made it. This was I've achieved my goal. And it was after that fight because it was a difficult opponent. I won a split decision. I could have been far more aggressive in the fight. I could have really put my stamp on it more, but I just kind of felt like I was cruising and kind of taking it all in. It was a bit surreal. And I remember after the fight on the way home thinking to myself, I need to reconfigure my goals now. Like, because it always seems so distant getting to the UFC. I don't know why.
And once you're there, I think that happens. That's quite common, isn't it? I was talking to my brother actually about it recently, about AJ, and how the pinnacle of his career so far, we felt like it was like beating Klitschko, and then maybe that was his goal for so long. So when he achieved that, I think like his other performances have been good, but they haven't been like the same level as that. So that was a similar thing that's happened for guys to get into the UFC and stuff as well.
Yeah. What about that? Andy Ruiz. Amazing, wasn't it?
Watch it.
I love it.
Did you watch it?
Did you? He saw it on Instagram. Did you see the animation that Ray Rod did?
Oh mate, that'd be fantastic.
How cool is that? The Ray Rod where he punched him.
He's got his luggage in the ghost luggage.
That's brilliant. We need to get into
I like
some
the
stuff.
Douglas Lima MVP one.
With the
four hammer coming.
He's super talented.
They're awesome, aren't they?
Who's this guy? Who is it?
Ray Rod. I don't know who he is.
Okay, I thought you meant with someone you might know.
No, I don't know him yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting him. Excellent work, my friend.
There you go.
Go on, then, give me a prediction for the Cowboy Ferguson fight. Because then we can play it back to you next week when you're
laughing at me. I see Ferguson cutting him up, but somehow, some kind of grappling exchange, some scrambles, and him ended up on the top and just getting those dirty elbows off, man, just doing some real damage. He's a guy that just wants to inflict damage. If he's on his back, he's elbowing downwards. He's not even trying to get up a lot of the time. He's just elbowing, doing dirty damage. As people are comfortable with their head on his chest, he's like, nah, mate. He's just sticking it on you the whole time. And I can see that happening a lot, doing damage, and then maybe Cerrone getting hurt. Cerrone might get on top of him, might finish him, or might just be I'm assuming 5 rounds. I know it's not, is it?
No, it's not. It's 3 rounds.
Okay, well then, maybe a decision, but with some damage on Cerrone's side.
Then I'm interested.
There we go. That's how we get Terry involved. Shout out to Bet365, by the way. We'll get Terry in a can. You'll make loads.
I'll bet you money, mate.
They'll be getting all my Bellator money.
One other fight on the card that is worth watching. It's the one that's opened up the main card.
Which is?
You'll love this one. It's Tai Tuivasa against Blagoy Ivanov, right?
I know Tai.
You know Tai, right? Tai's just.
I don't know too much about this, to be honest with you. Both guys.
Tai Tuivasa's like Mark Hunt's protege alongside Tyson Pedro and those guys, and he's just
a younger, bigger, excited Mark.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
It's dangerous to even say.
Who made his debut with a flying knee?
After,
made his debut with a flying knee. Cuts to heavyweight. Cuts to heavyweight.
When you said prodigy, for some reason, when you said Mark Hunt's prodigy, I thought someone's going to be smaller for some reason. That's the image I had in my head. This is a big old guy.
Cuts to heavyweight.
Alright, sweet.
I joined in a session with him, Soa, and Mark, aka when I very first started going to Thailand, and Tai hadn't even had a pro fight.
Really?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
And then I was like, I'd had one pro fight, and then next minute he's in the UFC, and I'm like, this is so unfair. But no, he trains hard.
He's a monster.
For a big guy, he's just always running. Boom, 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 boom.
Really?
In the heat and stuff. And I just remember seeing him sparring Soa and Mark and just putting them back and thinking, wow, he's young and don't mind getting hit and been used to getting hit by them guys. So.
Do you think he goes to Thailand because most people wear flip-flops, so he can't be drinking out of people's shoes?
I don't even think they do flip-flops like that big. Like he's just got breeze blocks.
He brought out to Celine Dion, didn't he?
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
Oh, you can when you're that big.
You got
to say anything to you.
I think he's great. I tell you, I did have a great conversation with him and Tyson about their tattoos, their traditional tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm going to try not to pronounce it terribly. It's called a peta, and it's like he was telling me about
all by
this.
Hand.
Dude, all by hand. And everything but your cock and balls.
I think he had his done. So we were staying.
Everything but your cock and balls.
We were staying.
It's like that's when you know your friends.
No, they do the arsehole.
Yeah.
All of it.
They do the arsehole.
All of it.
I'm not even joking. It's like part of their culture. So we were staying in the same villas.
They do the arsehole.
Did they show you?
Yeah. But the people just listening on Fight
You see my new tattoo.
We've got Terry making circles with his index finger talking about arseholes. That's a big arsehole, Terry.
He's a big guy.
He's got to accommodate.
I was a skinny little white guy over there, No, they're all nice guys. I think he started getting it done when he was like 14 or 15. Don't quote me on that.
Is he covered?
He's young. Oh man, like up his whole leg. Yeah. It's all so detailed. It's like by an old, not shaman, but like an old.
It's the same as the bamboo tattoos in.
And it's all done by stick. And they do so many hours. Like you can get takes it out on the body and stuff. I think your body can go in shock and shit like that.
Right.
But I think he started when he was like 13, 14, 15, when he was real young. And it's like, it looks amazing. He's coming up across his belly now.
How old is this guy now?
Ty's like 23, 24.
He's not very old.
Young.
Dude, Mark Hunt's son had it done over 3 days.
Yeah, that's insane.
Imagine that.
He's going to be a specimen. Have you seen him?
No,
he used to have a bit of weight on him, and he's been training with Mark. I just see him on Mark's Instagram, and he's just like, like testosterone's kicking in and that. I think, I think we're going to see him 100%. He looks like he's going to be a big guy.
That'd be exciting. Well, he's
we
opening the main,
didn't we, in Australia the other week? Yeah.
I got so much shit when I called one of my first events. I called one of Soa's fights, and I got so much shit from people on Twitter because the previous person to call his fights in the UFC was Mike Goldberg, and he called him Soa Pelele, which is it's not correct. It's not the correct way of saying it, but because everybody had already heard Goldie say it like 3 or 4 fights in a row,
catch on.
And then we come on, we're going Soa Pelele and saying it correctly. Everyone's like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Goldie got it right." Send us clips of Goldie saying
it. Like a drunk English accent.
They're always drunk in English, man. Nobody else amuses me like
Wherever
that.
you are in the world, you're gonna find them. Yeah,
I probably know them as well. That's the thing. Taito Avasa's fighting a guy called Blagoy Ivanov, and something to watch out for on him, which I find is very interesting. He's got a scar right there, like someone's tried to end him.
But is that a story? Is that the real story?
I don't know any more about it. No, I don't know any more about it. But he's got a
shit shot then.
From what I understand, he's got a bar fight incident. He was in a bar fight incident. He was stabbed there. Shit. And now he's fighting in the UFC. That's some shit, right?
That is.
And it's like a proper like Bowie knife scar as well. Like Crocodile Dundee fucked him up.
Tried opening him up.
That's not a knife.
Fillet.
All right.
For winter, they don't stab you; they fillet you.
Yeah. You're getting filleted, Sam.
I love it. Very cool. All right, guys, this has been awesome. Thanks a lot for joining me.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks for coming up and doing the session as well. It's been good.
It's been great, mate.
Coach Eric, thank you. We'll definitely do a sit down and we'll have a good conversation with him. Everybody, Full Reptile Radio. Oh, one more thing I want to do. I want to give a shout out to Kanazen. My mum's best friend has MS and she's been struggling with it for a long while. And she was on all kinds of pain medication and stuff. You guys are on the CBD goodness, aren't you?
Yeah.
Who said then?
I was going to say, and Shatterpen.
Oh yeah, Shatterpen, of course. Yeah, shout out to Shatterpen for keeping us lively in Stockholm. Yes. So Kanazen. So my mum's best friend, Sarah, she's had MS for a long while, and she's had all these kind of pain medications. And Kanazen sent me a couple of bottles of the stuff, so I passed one on to Sarah, and she started using it. And within a couple of weeks, she was off all of her pain meds. It's amazing. So and I sent a message to Kanazen. I was like, hey, just to let you know, this is a real good success story. And they were like, send us her address and her name, and they've been supplying her ever since.
Wow.
For no reason at all. And it's awesome. So shout out to Kanazen. Just go and check them out. Give them a follow on Instagram. Give them a like. Buy some goodness, and might save your life. You never know. All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody.
Peace
Full
out.
Reptile Radio out. Adam Amarasinghe, Terry Brazier. Make sure you check their fights out. June 22nd, Bellator London. Yeah. June 29th, Cage Warriors London.
106.
Bang. We're going to be there. See you then.
I felt like a reptile. I felt like a reptile.